to the
Productions.
welcome to the show, you guys. Trying to see what you guys are. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're gonna hop right into it. First, we're gonna hop right into it.
Yes, sir.
Not
We want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you're listening to this audio broadcast, this is going to be a special edition uh, of our Trillism show today. We're going to be interacting with our TikTok viewers, and everyone on TikTok is going to be giving us their opinions as far as the subject. The subject today is going to be what are pros and cons of each candidate. The number one overall cardinal rule of this live feed is disrespect towards others will not be tolerated at any point in time. If you're calling people out of name, other people on this podcast out of name, or disrespecting each other, we will go ahead and release you because that's not tolerated. We should all, as American citizens, be able to have a discussion about our points of views without being disrespectful towards each other. I think I can also say without saying that this is uh, open to American citizens. If you're outside of America, we obviously don't care if you watch and consume the live feed. But honestly, no disrespect, your opinions on political matters inside of the country are not necessarily uh, relevant. I don't want to say the wrong phrase here, but
nah, you
yeah,
good. You good,
I
man.
don't want
Nah,
to tell people. I don't want to tell
just
people
gonna
we don't
be.
care.
No, it's just gonna be. Here's the thing. I think a lot of people, a lot of Americans are concerned. Um, with either candidate. If you weren't a strong, hardcore Trump supporter, I can see where maybe the last week or two, you're concerned about how Joe Biden's performance has been. It's been cataloged. Now, I mean, you're seeing it clearly. CNN and the Democratic Party is, you know, kind of making assumptions. If you guys want to hop up and join in the conversation, let's talk about it. So I would say my starting point with a pro and a con, and mine is off. Okay, so okay, so I would say I'm a Trump supporter. I'm more of a Trump supporter than I am a Republican supporter or on that side because I do appreciate some of the qualities that Trump is out there. I do like the fact that uh, like that quality about him. That is a pro for me. That he's not a career politician. That he's kind of rough around the edges when it comes in that sense. But I think that he's exposed a lot of the political games that's been going on in these circles and in these realms of things that a lot of people weren't aware of. The people were not aware of. I think that he's exposed fake news. I think that he's kind of shown us that mainstream media and social media can have things that that aren't necessarily true. I think that's more prevalent now because a lot of people point out the indiscrepancies, which leads into my cons with Donald Trump. Uh, you know, the discrepancies and inaccuracies and things, and you may not have been, you're not truthful with these certain things, or your willingness to give them sound bites or whatever. I don't really care that Trump does that a lot, where he dodges a question, or he'll answer it kind of vaguely and ambiguously in a way that it kind of leaves you still. But if you understand the guy or you support the guy, you understand that, okay, he said it, so what more do you want him to say? Or like some people may want more of an explanation or an answer for that, and that what you just said wasn't good enough. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of where I wish that, just on a simple level, I kind of wish that Donald Trump would do those things where he would just simply answer the question. If he's denouncing something, kind of emphatically do that. Don't worry about the soundbite. Don't worry about what the media would do to it or whatever, because the people that are going to want and know and seek the truth are going to be the people that actually research, get the full audio clip or the full unedited version of whatever that was said, so they can get the full context of it. So that's kind of where I think, in my opinion, are my pros and cons on a light level. To start off the conversation is with Donald Trump. I guess I would go with, let's say, what my pros and cons are with Joe Biden. Given the fact that I'm not a supporter of the Democratic Party just in general, but I would say that Joe Biden, he has, kind of ushered, this administration had ushered a lot of awareness and things of that nature to a variety of different groups and different, causes. I do think in this country we need to take a look at some of these things, some of our social issues. But at the same time, sometimes I don't feel so. Like I said, I'm going to keep it kind of light, So that's my pro with Joe Biden and his administration, is that they're inclusive. They believe in they're adding diversity within the White House and that administration, which is appreciated. But there comes a point in time where you have to look at who's the qualified person. Let's go with the qualified person who's going to do the best job. Sometimes I think that that inclusion, the DEI conversation gets kind of muddied watered, because now we're trying for things for optics, and that's not what that's designed to do. That's not designed for that's not designed for us to just for the appearance of what it is, if we're not using it in a practical sense, if that makes sense. So, if you guys want to hop in and talk about this thing, I know everybody has their opinion. Everybody, their pros and cons about it. What would yours be, unfavorite, UF? What you going by nowadays?
I would like to see some other people join and maybe give us their pros and cons at the moment. I'm more of an impartial.
So I mean, even as an American, pros and cons on both candidates that I understand that right now, like, you're not really in favor of either, or saying that either one aren't good, like unfavored. Like right now, you're the typical, I would say, all right, I'm not even going to put you on a spot like that. I really want to talk to those, independent, like the swing guys, you don't know. You just see two old guys up there. You really don't like either one of them. I guess at this point in time, we could talk about um, what the policies are, or what it is that their stances are. Like what's the stance on uh, the right for a woman to you know I know when we're on TikTok, there's certain verbiage we can't use, but we're talking about the woman's right to bear or her child, and what that means, vices the right that the life of that unborn child has. We can talk about these things. That's definitely a liberal and conservative conversation. What's another big one? We could talk about, in general, and it's always seems to have been the let's just break it down. What conservatism is and what liberalism is. I mean, at a fundamental level, you have the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and all of these things that make us America. So how the house is divided, how the political parties are divided, and in the way that I feel that it was kind of in its origins maybe a good idea. Who knows? I know that at the end of the day there was a war that when that happened. I don't particularly understand why we would have absorbed certain people into our government after that conflict, but it is what it is. And we're here, fast forward to 2024, and you have a party that is, as they say, progressive, and they want to move things along and change things up. And I understand that, change it with the times. We got to do that. There's got to be some development in social structure, and there's got to be some development in the way we move about. But the conservatives' point of view, and what I understand it to be, is, but we don't need to change what's written to do that. All it takes is a train of thought. We as a society have to understand that we all are different, and we all are going to have our different point of views, and what's important to us and what's not important to us, or what's really impactful to my group of people versus what's not impactful, right? So then we have to break it down in that sense and just think about, like, what exactly are we, kind of, what I'm saying? What are we really trying to, get at? And Ramona, I don't think we can use that terminology, heritage founded. I don't know what that, we can, I don't know if you can use that 3-letter term on here, but if you want to pop in and talk about it, we can do that.
A lot of people are asking about or talking about Project 2025.
I mean, we could talk about, I don't know how much of that we could talk about on TikTok. I know that, let me see.
Everybody.
So what this is, okay, it says, and this is coming from Project 2025.org. I want to be, as correct as possible when I'm speaking about this and giving my opinion about it. But it said,
you have a guess as well.
All right, pop them in here. I don't.
Oh no, never mind. They backed up. All right. Never mind, they backed up. If you want to join, man, you absolutely can join. Of course, the number one cardinal rule is no disrespect towards the others in this group, in this chat today. So if you would like to join, then definitely please join. We want to hear your opinion. This is a safe space, and we try to make it a safe space, as safe as you make it for yourselves as well.
Right. So, join the panel. We would love to hear those reasons. Yeah, I mean, pop up, Paul. I mean, I'd love to talk to you about it. Just ideas that he believes in. He said the way that he wants to control and lie. I mean, lie about what? Expand on that. I'm not going to attack you, Paul. I'm not gonna. This is a safe space for you. We really want to get down to, but what I need you to understand is that with that respect factor, I'm not gonna, just speak about it. Don't get all hyped up. Don't get crazy. Bring your facts. Let's talk about it.
Let me pop this person in real quick. Hello. What's your name?
Looks like they still loading in.
Hi, how you doing today?
Hey, what's up? What's your name?
My name is POD.
Okay.
Where's your location?
So, what's that?
Where you from? What state are you from?
Oh, I'm from Anaheim, California.
Okay, California. Okay, and what's your political affiliation?
Independent.
Okay. All right, go ahead. What you got for us?
Well, for me, I looked up both candidates, and for me, I see that Biden is a better option due to the fact that, like, basically, like, he's not trying to actually impose, like, this Christian nationalism and the Project 25 agenda. And, also, for example, like, all these fake things that actually Trump's cabinet imposed on Biden, trying to get anything to impeach him because Trump was actually liable and did the January 6th thing. When Trump did January 6th, that's when everybody started looking at him. Now, if he did not do the January 6th thing, he probably would have had a better chance at actually winning this next election. But everything that he did, like him actually, like now, he's trying to hide everything from the public. Like, for example, Eileen Cannon, it's just been a delay tactic and using all the tactics that Roy Cohn actually taught him while he was under, he was just a normal Joe on the street, whatever. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't know if you know who Roy Cohn is, but every single thing that Trump does, attack, delay. It's all of Roy Cohn's tactics. Now, if you don't know who Roy Cohn is, do you know who Roy Cohn is? By any chance? Do you guys know who Roy Cohn is?
Roy Cohn?
Yes.
Is that who you just said?
Yes, Roy Cohn.
Okay. We're talking
It's
about
ROYCOHN. Roy Cohn.
Prosecutor who came to his prominent role as a senator.
Way back when, before he died.
Yeah, we're talking about
Before he died, Roy Cohn was Trump's mentor. Now, everything that Trump is, it was all thanks to Roy Cohn. Now, Roy Cohn was not a good guy. You know what I mean? He was like
Okay. Hold on, POD. So we already established that you don't like Trump. And you made a couple of statements. Are you okay with me addressing those things before we go on a runaway train? Can we ping pong this thing? Can we ping pong this conversation?
Hey, go ahead.
POD?
I muted him so that the mics won't interact with each other.
I want him to respond to that question. I don't want to sequester him. I want it to be known that we're going to have this conversation.
With all due respect to POD and anybody that joins the platform, this is the Trillizum show. So go ahead and state your point, and right. I'm sure he's okay with responding. If not, then
I just don't want to drop him. I don't want to. But POD,
I just muted him so that I muted him so the mics won't collide, so we can hear what you're saying.
So check it out, POD. So I would say that Joe Biden has also been mentored by some pretty nasty people. You know who you threw around this guy, Roy Cohen, but Robert Byrd. You ever heard of that guy? I think Robert Byrd was a. If you're not going to tell me that this Roy Cohen was a member of the KKK or that organization, excuse me, I can't use that, but part of that organization, this guy Robert Byrd has him beat because he was a recruiter. And I know the story goes and says that he that was when he was younger, in his 20s and his 30s, and he's changed his ways. And the cheetah changed his stripes on that one, like, apparently. But in my book, I don't think that there's any reconciliation for that, especially at the tempo of this country and the way that we tolerate things. That should never have been tolerated. But I would say that was Joe Biden's mentor. He said it at his funeral. So, I mean, I think we have a tie right there. So,
Well,
what else?
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
Okay, so,
No, but I mean,
so
you know
just in
what? That was
fairness,
done now.
Fairness, POD, we can honestly say that those two, like, if you want to bring up Roy Cohen, let's go ahead and cancel that one out with Robert Byrd. What else you got?
No, it doesn't equal it because I mean, not only Roy Cohn, it's not Roy Cohen. Roy Cohn and David Duke is the one that's actually supporting Trump now. Like, you see, there's a difference between then and now. Like, you see the nastiness that's going around right now, where Trump is not even including Democrats in his party. Like, he's totally going against the Democrats and this and that, and totally dividing the country.
Okay.
And you you cannot deny the fact that he's the one that's destroying this country and dividing us, because he's the one that's actually talking about, oh, the Democrats this and the Democrats are the ones that are actually persecuting me and going after me. If that was true, Joe Biden has the authority to all means lock him up right now.
Okay, so can I address that? Can I address that statement? Again, I don't want to go on this runaway thing.
Yeah, let's have you respond to him dividing the country.
Go ahead. Right, so dividing the country. Okay, so you can't pull up a guy that's some nasty guy on one side. Let's just be fair. You can't say that, oh, look at who his mentor was, and he's some nasty guy, and then look at the other guy, and then omit his mentor was a nasty guy. Those two things absolutely will cancel each other out. That is a fact. Now, if this guy came up as an altar boy and he never came out with the fact that he thought that he was the pillar of the U.S. Senate and a mentor and a colleague and a friend, were deeply regarded at this guy's funeral. So those two absolutely would cancel each other's out. It should. Mathematics, if we're going to follow the science and math, those two things should cancel out. So with your claim of division of the country and all of these things, okay, that may be from your point of view, sir. I don't live in your shoes. Okay. And I could say, arguably, looking at it from my point of view, I feel that the Democratic Party and the Biden administration has created a ton of divisiveness within our country. Now, I say that, and the reason why I say that, let me explain myself, and then we could talk about it. All right. So the reason why I say that is that I am a believer that the Constitution, even though we can say that the Constitution at the time, oh, that doesn't apply to us or this or that, these specific people or group of people, it never says it anywhere in there that it breaks it down to black, white, or other. Okay, let's just establish that. So based off of that, fundamentally, it's just, I feel that when it comes down to rights, it's human rights. It doesn't matter if you're male, female, or, whatever you decide to identify as. It doesn't matter if you're Christian, Jewish, or whatever you decide to be your religious faith. At this point in time, your basic human rights are basic human rights. Now, the second part of that would be, as a United States citizen, your citizenship needs to be obtained by a legal, because we have laws, right? These same laws that prevent someone for hate criming you, right, is the same laws that we have to abide by to keep everything in order. So you can't denounce one thing without the other. And that's kind of where I'm going with that, POD. What we got, sir?
So you're saying that basically it would be okay to implement on us Project 25, where it takes away the FBI.
We weren't talking about
Wait,
Project
wait, no,
25.
I didn't interrupt you, sir. So please don't interrupt me. I was
Hold on,
simply
but
waiting
you're not
patiently
about
so
to,
I
hold
could
on
respond.
on my show. What you're not about to do is says, oh, well, I'm okay with, because we didn't even start talking about Project 25. So please don't do that. That's putting words in my mouth.
Wait, what? But
That's
it's
not,
about the laws. You're talking about the laws, right?
I'm
So
talking about
that
the, I'm
actually
talking
it
about the
applies to the
current
law.
laws that we have. I'm not talking about any propositions. I'm talking about law and order in general. I'm not
Okay,
talking
so you want to talk about law and
I'm
order?
not talking about Project 25.
Okay, so I won't talk about Project 25 then. Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. I got you.
Go
Okay,
ahead, continue,
so
sir.
let's talk about the Supreme Court justice law then. Why is it okay for them to stop every single trial that is trying to hold him accountable for the things that he did from J6? When I talk about the law, let's see, these trials are being delayed. What reason? That sounds suspicious. You should be actually interested on what he really did with those documents, because those documents were nuclear secrets,
Okay.
sir.
Okay.
Oh,
Thank you for documentation that were poorly handled. What about the document? And so now here's what I'm getting at. You guys love to talk about documentation and all of that stuff. Joe Biden also has a case where documentation wasn't handled properly, and Ghost wrote about it and all sorts of things, but we omit those things. So, sir, your argument about that candidate versus the other candidate are now mute. What else you got? Because we're not going to sit here and say that, oh, no, that was wrong and this and that. One has claims of, and it was under investigation, and it was a sketchy investigation. The people admitted that he had documents. He admitted himself he had documents in his home. So we're not going to play that tit for tat. Those two items, in my opinion, are mute issues. Please continue.
okay, that's fair. But you see that actually Mike Pence and Biden, when they were asked about the documents, what did they do? They returned them immediately, right? Now, Trump, on the other hand, what did he do? They asked him about it firsthand. Firsthand, they said, "Oh, I don't have it." Then he told them, "Oh, I'll give them back to you in due time." Oh, it was just delay. He held on to those documents for over a year,
Okay.
and they still
Hold on.
didn't
Before we go
back.
off on the warpath, let me respond to that. I forgot what the process is called, but every offgoing president or anyone that is in that White House that has access to classified material. First and foremost, if you haven't handled classified information, I don't care if you're the president or not, the way that sensitive documents and sensitive information is handled is very detail oriented. So on an exiting president, they have to have. Do you think that they just loaded up their boxes on the U-Haul and was able to pack up whatever they wanted and just go and leave off the premises? There are several agencies that have checked through what he's got. Here you go. Boom. Now, it's been proven, and this has been a thing before where these agencies have messed up and things have slipped through and all of that stuff. So when it's argued to be said that this agency made the mistake, if I'm leaving and someone has to say, yes, you can take this package or take this material outside of this White House, then at that point in time, that accountability falls on that agency. Not so I'm going to go ahead and say that that's a mute issue, because it could have very well happened to Joe Biden like that, where, okay, yeah, somebody that's supposed to clear that didn't clear it. Yeah, you could take that home, Joe. And then No, you wasn't supposed to take that home, Joe. Let's just keep that a buck and 100. So where I'm getting at is that people make mistakes. Joe Biden's made mistakes, and Donald Trump has made mistakes clearly. So
let me jump in and move the conversation to a different place. Okay, POD, what's your opinion on both presidents and how economically the country has been under these both presidents?
I mean, I'm glad you asked that. I mean, look, okay, that's why I came up here, because it says what are the pros and cons of each candidate, and that's what I was trying to actually go with what you guys were actually talking about. So that's why I appreciate what you just said. So okay, for each candidate, right? So basically, who do you want me to start with first?
Sure will.
Well, you're independent, so wherever you like to go.
All right, I'll go with Joe Biden, because Joe Biden is actually having a lot of construction going on right now in every state. Mind you, the PACT Act, where it helps a lot of veterans. Not only that, but like taking us out of C-19 is a huge deal. Now I will move to Trump. While Trump was in office, right? He was actually running under Obama and Joe Biden's, legacy, because of the fact that basically they helped out Bush Jr. clean up all his mess, and they got no credit for it, right? They got none, because at the end of the presidency, like everybody was, when Trump came in and started hollering, "Oh, he wasn't born here. He's not American. Oh, he was born in Kenya." Like straight lying on him because he wanted to run for president, because he couldn't stand the fact of a black man running the country. So then everybody started hating him. And I remember walking the streets, I was like, God damn, why do they hate these guys so much? What the fuck did he do wrong? And then I finally realized later, when I grew up, I was like, holy shit, they were racist against this man. That's some really fuck shit.
Okay.
Because of this guy.
Okay. Can I
was gonna,
Okay.
continue. I was gonna finish.
Again,
I just wanted to finish. I wanted to land the plane. So then when Trump got in office, he ran on that. Then he destroyed the country by actually saying that he downplayed the pandemic. And he said that, oh, I didn't want to scare the people. Man, when that boat first came out, I was like, holy shit, we're fucked. Like, there's something happening right now, and we need to take precautions, and something that Trump didn't do, and which he should have done did. But then after that, he had some clothes on the country.
POD, you are running a train right now, and I allow you to speak freely. But what I don't want to do is put a blob of
I was just giving you the same configuration that you're doing.
It sound like you landed. It sound like you were bouncing. So I do have to structure my show, and I apologize for that. So I'd like to address what you said about Obama. Okay. I do agree that the tactics that were used, that I think that Donald Trump was beating a dead horse. I personally, I'm not a supporter of the Democratic Party, but as a black man, it was my obligation and duty, I feel, because I really didn't know too much about Barack Obama at the time. I voted for him. Okay. So, there were things that I didn't appreciate that Donald Trump did and said, but I mean, at the end of the day, I wouldn't categorize them as racist. In fact, that is what that man identifies as. So what is it for him to identify that person that he's accusing of the classification of person that he identified himself? That doesn't make sense to me sometimes. So I do understand that at that time, Donald Trump was coming off of a TV career, and he had the whole, buzz of being a celebrity, and said a lot of things in that fashion, in my opinion. I didn't appreciate that Donald Trump was such a showboat and a grandstander. But at the end of the day, what happened with Obama, and I was in the military, I'm not sure about you, POD. Are you a veteran, sir?
I have family members that are.
Okay, so you never served in the military?
No, sir, I couldn't.
Okay.
I tried to, but they denied me. So,
And I appreciate your attempt to serve. But let me tell you, as a veteran of this country, I was in the armed services and in the military. I did Navy, and then I transitioned blue to green into the Army to finish out my service. So I was in two different branches. So when I voted for Barack Obama, unfortunately, you know, we that volunteered to go over and defend our country and be over there in Iraq and do our job for political righteousness or political gain, he made those promises, even though our leadership, our military leadership, advised them very strongly, please look this up, not to pull out of Iraq because it was going to be the spawn of ISIS. They predicted that. The military leadership told that president this. What he do? He still withdrew us from that region. And then we had to deal with ISIS in a way that the world shouldn't have had to deal with them. Now, with that being said, I feel that Obama was a great barrier that this country needed to hurdle. Absolutely. Did I support that? Absolutely. It was definitely something that this country needed to see. Did I agree with all of Obama's administrative practices? Absolutely not. As a black man, I'm not going to sit here and say that he was the greatest thing since sliced bread, because I worked hard for certain things that at the end of the day were almost taken from me because of some of his policies and some of the things that looked good from the exterior. And the reason why I asked you, if you were POD, if you were in the military or have served, that's one thing that I can honestly say that certain people, that's our differences. From different approaches and different things, you're going to vote a certain way because it affects you differently. So there's certain things that affect me differently as being a veteran. And you were speaking about the VA, to where under Barack Obama's watch, we allowed our military to withdraw out of Iraq, spawned ISIS. There was military cuts and budget cuts. I saw them redline a fleet of perfectly good aircraft, roll out another aircraft, cut 3,000 specialty crewman jobs. That was rampant across the military under the Barack Obama administration. Now, what I will say is that Donald Trump was not very tactful in his pursuit to try to smear Barack Obama. But who is? These guys aren't playing nice now. They say all sorts of wild stuff to each other. So what's the difference?
so we're gonna actually touch on this because I've seen somebody make a comment earlier here. First off, also thank you for your service, by the way.
It was my pleasure.
There's some things that I don't agree with. First off, my granddad was a Vietnam vet. Okay, and there was when he talked about that soldier, and he said I don't like people that get caught. You know what I mean? He called him a sucker and loser.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, and you know.
And then, but could I finish? I wanted to finish my whole plane because I was thinking about everything that I was gonna say. So then, how do you? A lot of people support that he withdrew 5,000 Taliban members before he actually evacuated our military first. That's one. Number two, the time span that they gave him a couple of months. Do you agree that needed more planning and effectiveness to pull out within time before that and actually make planning before he did what he did?
All right, so hold number two. I want to answer number one. Why would you pull out Afghanis before, right? Why would you pull it? Why would you pull out Afghani? Now you say Taliban. We don't know specifically who all those people are. I know for a fact that were Afghani nationals that aided and supported the U.S. forces while they were there, that they granted certain protections and immunities to. So yes, to honor. No, hold on. I'm going to address the 2-point question on.
But I mean, I don't think you're understanding what I was saying though, because I mean, I probably didn't come out correctly or something. I was talking about like, okay, Donald Trump made a plan with the Taliban to withdraw from Afghan, right? So
Yes.
what I was saying was that okay, like Trump actually agreed to only 4 months of planning to get them out of there within the time that Joe Biden was going to come in office. Now, you know what? I think he did that out of spite. Honestly, Trump does everything out of spite because General Milley said this that they needed more time to withdraw, but Trump tried to do it within 4 months, right within the timing that he lost.
Okay, so I mean,
So yeah, that guy's a freaking traitor, bro.
Okay, alrighty. So again, I'm gonna say like this: we don't know unless you were in that military realm, unless you were in that planning situation. We don't know what the hold on.
Wow.
We don't know what all the planning is. I know that we all know that for a fact that the way that the plan was laid out wasn't proper. Okay. That plan was either not executed on Donald Trump's side during his presidency with effectiveness and efficiently, right? But it went down on Joe Biden's watch horribly. So again, sir, I would say that you can't throw the rock when you live in a glass house. If Donald Trump had an effective plan to move those troops before, his term was up and he wasn't able to do that effectively, then he failed. If Joe Biden obviously wasn't able to pick that situation up and move out effectively, he failed. So again, this is a checkmate situation. What I don't want to do is get hung up in that type of stuff, because if we're going to say the pandemic, this and that, nobody knew that the pandemic, nobody would have handled that properly. I wouldn't have trusted, me personally. You might have trusted Joe Biden during the pandemic or during the start of the pandemic, but I sure wouldn't have. So
let me jump in here. POD, we really appreciate you for joining the podcast. Unfortunately, we are coming up towards the end of today's discussion. Next week, we would love
before you get into that pod, please follow the show. I would love to talk to you offline. Give my man the hand claps, because again, respect and love. Nobody called each other out our names. Yeah, we disagree fundamentally. I appreciate the follow pod, and we're gonna have these conversations. I really do.
Gonna invite POD back on to the platform. I really appreciate, like you were saying, definitely applause to him. I really appreciate his professionalism and using his mute etiquette as well. And when we mute people, it's never to shut people up. It's just for the sake of the audio broadcast, because this is also a podcast. So POD, man, definitely tap in with Trilla, because based on what we've seen today, it'd be really dope to make you a reoccurring panel on the show. So sorry to interrupt you and sorry to get you out of there, but I want to let Trill kind of close out and lead us into maybe what we'll do next week. Next week we'll be on a lot longer, and hopefully some of you guys will
rejoin us.
I don't want to say myself the courage, but hopefully some of you guys will jump from the comments to the panel next week. But go ahead, Trill, if you want to close us out and get people ready for next week.
Hey, I see you in the comments, guys. Shout out to everybody that's been in the comments. I appreciate us being so different, but we do have to understand that we have to approach our country in a way that we bring our diversity to the table instead of trying to snatch it away. What I feel is that if we're able to kind of take the emotional side out of things and look at what's practical and what's the best for all of us, and have these conversations. Joe Biden talks about bringing it to the dinner table. These platforms are our dinner table. So let's eat, but let's do it respectfully. I appreciate everybody that's been in the comments. Next time, please pop in. I'd love to talk to you guys, let you speak. And if you guys want to follow us here on TikTok, Trilla. We are. You can also follow me at Trilogy Productions on Instagram. And at the end of the day, I just want us to all be able to figure out this thing, and let's do it together, and let's make this country what we want it to be, this harmonious kumbaya. But that starts with inner looking and looking at yourself. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys. UF, I appreciate you as usual, sir. You got any last things to say?
No, not really. Salute to you. Salute to everybody that's been watching and everybody that's tapped in. If you're an audio listener, we appreciate you as well, even more than the people that are here live because you come back to listen to the show. You can find this show on Spotify or any other places podcasts or broadcast, The Trillizum Show. And then you can join us next week on TikTok if you would like to. We're going to broaden the discussion and maybe be here for a lot longer than we were today so we can get some more people in.
Right. Games and prizes coming soon, so please stay tuned. Please tap in. And until next time, Trillizum out.